Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2023. Feels strange even saying that, but here we are. It's January, and December at the shop is a little hairy. It comes and goes pretty quick. It's kind of like being like in a dryer, just tumbling back and forth, kind of like working through these cycles. And I'm here to tell you, I don't have a shtick. I'm not in costume today. I'm just outside with my buddy Nick Thomas, and we're going to talk about incredible wines because you want to know what? This lineup really kicks ass. It is opening up the door to 2023 with some really, really high quality producers that somehow we've never featured before, and it's about time to get going on that. So I hope you had a great holiday season. December is kind of tough for me I drink a lot of great wine, but sometimes I'm like, man, I don't even remember tasting that wine. It was at this party and it was like this, and I was busy and I had to go to work the next day. Like, January is about like inviting your friends over for a slow dinner and tasting some great wines. I think it's maybe the greatest month of the year to taste high quality wines. Because we all know dry January. Let's not talk about that. So let's move on. Moving into our first kind of wine here, we're going to talk about Mark Vlasic. Mark is a friend of the shop. We've done many wine dinners with him, with our friends at Lucia and Cora, and his Pinot Blanc, like, somehow just is a standout wine of his. I feel like all of his wines, like, always hit. But his Pinot Blanc is just this lovely little thing. So this is the 2021, bottling of his Freedom Hill Vineyard Pinot Blanc. Freedom Hill is a vineyard like I think south and west of Salem. It spends 8 months on the lees before bottling, and maybe a little less than half of that spends time in acacia barrel, which is kind of a unique opportunity for us to experience these alternate formats. Usually we're used to just oak. So when you see things that have acacia cask, I'm always kind of curious about, like, can I smell it? Can I taste it? So, Mark started his winery in 1988. He was twice named winemaker of the year from Robert Parker's Wine Advocate. Like, he's got some chops, and he's just a really nice guy. He's the son of a wine importer, and his father was a wine importer. His mother was a classically trained chef. And I feel like the way that he kind of focuses in on this Burgundian style of winemaking really just comes out very clearly for me, always. Very delicious wines. I would love to have Mark back in town. So Mark, if somehow you're ever find yourself watching this video, please come back to St. Paul, Minnesota, and let's do a wine dinner again. Anyways, moving on from a great Oregon favorite of ours to another favorite winemaker of ours. So this is Massimo Alois. The winery is named after Michele Alois, but really I just think of it as Alois. The father, the brothers, kind of making these wines outside of Naples, in this kind of town called Caserta, and it's a grape called Palo Bianco, and this is it's a big structured white. It's kind of clocking in at 14% ABV, and I like every kind of ounce of its kind of concentration and weight. I think of these as really lovely winter white wines, to be able to have some substance kind of behind the wine. So Massimo is arguably, I feel like, maybe the most charismatic man I've met in this industry, and all with kind of great sincerity. I love kind of hearing the stories of his family's winemaking history. He comes from a long kind of series of generations of men who sold silk, great silks to the Louvre, to Buckingham Palace, to the White House. Like, they are great businessmen, but they also make really, really incredible wines, and that's their focus now, is kind of just reviving this great heritage of winemaking outside of Naples. So, lots of time on kind of the fine lees to pick up lots of concentration, but all in steel before it gets bottled. They farm 18 hectares on these very, very kind of light, gray volcanic ash. A lovely Neapolitan wine. Bravo, Massimo. Moving on to Madsen. Madsen, at Madsen Syrah right here. This is coming from the Santa Rita Hills, 148 148 cases made. Very, very small, kind of boutique producer that we are seeing right now. Started by this guy named Cole Thomas, who, he founded the winery in 2018, all organic. Well, first off, I feel like every wine, for the most part in this run is organic, but a strong focus on Pinot Noir and Syrah for the reds, which makes perfect sense to me. I love both of those grape varieties very much. I think that you need a really kind of deft touch to really bring out a lot of complexity without really kind of going overboard, with too much too quick. So this clocks in at 12.2% alcohol. It's light, it's cool, it's very fresh, and very, very complex, for me. So yes, it reminds me of Northern Rhone Syrahs in a way, but I'm not like completely committed to that kind of assessment. It's very Californian to me in this new California style of Syrah. And whether I'm thinking about like Pac Small, guys like Aaron Jordan, they really kind of get to the heart of that cool black fruit. Some of these California Syrahs are more concentrated than others, but I just really have taken a liking to the consistency that I find in California Syrah. They're just delicious. So Madsen, a great new producer to check out. Very, very boutique. So moving all the way to the Loire, we're going to Chinon, one of the greatest wine villages. I feel like we're little kind of pockets of the wine world, for all sorts of different styles of wine. This area around Tours, you've got Vouvray, you've got Mont-Louis-sur-Loire, you've got Saumur, and then you have Chinon. Chinon is maybe the apex for Cabernet Franc for a lot of people, maybe myself included. I think that the dimension of different soil types in this village is just astounding. And Bernard Baudry, this winemaker who, got his formal training in Beaune, the heart of Burgundy. Again, kind of makes perfect sense. Like these lovely, detailed wines that are very Loire. I don't know, kind of feel almost Burgundian in terms of its, kind of attention to detail and its expressiveness. So, the wine is now made with his son Mathieu. So kind of a second generation winemaking team in play here. They farm 25 hectares of vines, and this wine in particular spends 12 months in old barrel, barriques, kind of smaller barrels, and then 9 to 10 more months in cement. So we're talking about, close to 2 years that the wine is together, kind of coming together with purpose in a way. I just feel like the longer a wine kind of stays together before it goes down into bottle, it really kind of shows you other tricks. So 100% Cabernet Franc, all organic, on these limestone and tufa, which is volcanic ash, blended together. They age phenomenally well. I have very old bottles of this in my cellar at home. I think this is one of the greatest wines in the world that we can all kind of still afford, and I feel like the price is going to go up quick soon. So also imported through Louis Dresner and Kermit Lynch at the same time, which that should kind of tell you something right there. Two amazing French wine importers based in the United States that really have cherry-picked the best. Somehow the Baudry family has honored both of those commitments, and I find that very unique, and it says a lot about the grandness of this producer. So going to the Veneto, we're going to go to La Bionda. So this producer right here, this Valpolicella, is not only a Valpolicella, it is a Classico Superiore Ripasso. So this family has been making wines since I think 1902, I want to say. Let me look at my notes. Yes, 1902. It's a fourth generation winemaking team. It's now brother and sister who are making the wines. They started practicing organic farming in 2000, and they've been certified since 2016. Really lovely textured blend of Corvina, Molinara, Rondinella, classic Valpolicella. In the whole run of this Cellar series, we're working on a few years of this. We haven't really featured many Valpolicella wines. I think maybe one other, Tommaso Busla, and that's too bad because I love these wines. We just don't see a lot of great ones, a lot of great estate bottled wines, and this is certainly one of them. So 18 months in 2,000 to 3,000 liter vats before bottling, bottled unfiltered. Really, really lovely wine. So here comes the snowblower. We're in Snowmageddon. Finishing up here with Clos de Napa. So Clos de Napa is a wine that's made by Precision Wines out of St. Helena. This spends 24 months in French oak barrels. And it kind of is like a return to where these reds right here are very detailed and kind of like medium bodied, a little more fuller body here. This wine kind of brings some heft, kind of brings that kind of like warm blanket kind of quality to it. There's spice. You can feel kind of the California sunshine right here in full effect. Yeah, so it says Cabernet on the label, or on the back label, Reserve 2016 Cabernet Sauvignon. But in all honesty, here it comes. In all honesty, it's 75% Cabernet and 25% Merlot, which is pretty classic. Like I love how that extra little degree of is really coming right here. Makes it kind of just a great blend. So that is your Cellar series, because I'm about to be drowned out by this snowblower right next to me. We'll see you in February. Come get it. It's 20% off. Happy New Year.